Hey y'all, welcome to Cooking with ʄąıཞj. I am Patina ʄąıཞj, and today we are making Mississippi State Fair style chicken on a stick. Now you know we getting into the fall, so September, October-ish is usually fair season, you know, whether it's your county fair, state fairs, whatever. And you know how we got our traditional fair foods, you know, and they may vary from place to place, but for the most part, they be about the same. You know, you're going to have your chicken on a sticks or steak on a stick or whatever, your cotton candy, your fried Oreos, your funnel cakes, turkey legs, all the things, you know what I'm saying? I'll put, you know, a list of it. So, of course, you know, this was your favorite fair food. Feel free, you know, if you want to skip around, timestamps are in the description box. So I get excited more about the fair food. And the reason why I said Mississippi State Fair style is because I, you know, used to go to the fair in Mississippi.
Opening night at the fair is a tradition for so many Mississippi families. But as 16 WAPT's Ross Brown shows us, there are some new additions to this year's fair.
Fairgoers can choose from some new treats this year.
Brisket. We also sell sausage on a stick. It's a beef and pork mix blend. It's so good.
Harlan's Barbecue out of Texas has been featured on several national cooking programs. Another newcomer rolling on the bayou, serving up Cajun cuisine.
We do the gator on a stick.
Gators on a stick.
Ooh, that is still the stick.
What? Oh, man, no, man.
You grab that water like that, and you pick up some and you do like that. If that water wet, it's got gators in it. That's how you know they got gators in that water in Louisiana. Remember, the fishing queen herself told you.
We do the gator on a stick, the shrimp on a stick. We do the shrimp plates and the fish plates, blooming onions, red beans and rice, and jambalaya.
I am here with the famous Mr. Roger Penn. And of course, all y'all know at home what we're eating. Mr. Penn, tell us what's on this plate.
Well, we've got mainly chicken on a stick that we've had for many, many years. We've got catfish that we started with. Fried dill pickles come behind that.
We still carry all of our fried favorites that you have grown up with. Penn's Fresh, pond-raised catfish, and chicken on a stick have a secret recipe that keep customers coming back for more.
We hope people will enjoy it.
I know they will. And y'all, I'm so excited to eat mine. I don't want to eat it on TV because I can't eat it very pretty. But we will, y'all make sure to come and see Mr. Penn down here at the fairgrounds, and we'll check back in with y'all in just a little bit. For now, we're live at the fairgrounds in Parker 16 WAPT News.
Girl, eat it.
Put the Exxon and get a chicken on a stick.
This is in Oxford? Or,
Yeah.
X1?
Chicken on a stick.
How
not better raise the case.
The chicken on the stick here in Oxford is pretty good. So much so that it has been named one of the top places in the country to get food after a night out.
Oh, baby, you just have to come and see. It gets crazy. Especially after bar rush and a football game. It's our secret ingredients.
With chicken on the stick open 24/7, and with this location, it's a prime spot for students to come here and grab a quick bite after a long night on the square.
I'm a very big fan. I'm an avid fan, actually. Try to get at least once, twice a week, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's just that good.
Yeah.
Big piece of chicken, nice price. Can't really beat it. Tastes better when I'm intoxicated, I must say. Especially when you dip it in the honey mustard.
One night, my friends from Starville, they had heard about chicken on a stick, and they wanted to go and experience chicken on a stick. So I took them, and it was a really long line, but we were like, it's worth it. So we just waited in line, and it was worth it.
In all honesty, I don't have any stories because I was either not in my conscious mind, but it's good. That's all I could say. It's fantastic.
So as you can see, Mississippi loves some chicken on a stick. They don't play by no chicken on a stick now. Makes me question this popular fair food by state list. And y'all can confirm, you know, for your state if it's true. I mean, I'm not surprised it's something fried for Mississippi, but it should have said chicken on a stick instead of fried bacon. I'm just saying. And it's a certain style of the chicken on a stick that is different. I don't know if it's super different, but you know, like it ain't got bell peppers and stuff on there. You know what I mean? It's kind of simple. It's just got 3 things on there, but it's good. And so yeah, there are different types of chicken on the sticks. They vary by region, and there's different types. So with the fried battered versions, then yeah, the classic Southern style, or you see it say Mississippi, even on Google. And it has the descriptions. So with the Southern style, it could be the chicken, of course, pickle, potato, or onion. But the potato is debatable. Now, what I'm used to, haven't gotten a potato in mine. So that's the one I'm making, the one without the potato. But that's your choice if you want to add a potato. But when I started going to the fair in Mississippi years ago, Penn's was dominating at the time. I haven't been in years to that one, but I'm doing the one without the potato because that's the one I'm used to, unless they switched it up or something. Then you got the Cajun style, which, you know, it's going to have Cajun seasoning, but it's still pickles and onions, and it's not double battered. Then 2 other fried battered versions. You got the San Antonio Fiesta style that has a chicken patty with a pickled jalapeno and chicken corn dog. And they even have a frosted flake batter for the chicken on a stick that's popular in Wisconsin, South Carolina, and Florida. Then for the grilled glazed versions, you have the teriyaki chicken on a stick that's popular at the Minnesota State Fair from Chan's. And Wisconsin State Fair has a popular chicken bacon ranch waffle stick. Then you have a Chinese American style grilled chicken on a stick that's marinated in a sauce with soy sauce, honey, and sesame oil. And a buffalo spicy chicken on a stick that has buffalo sauce on it. So you can do your chicken on a stick with batter or without batter. Also, there's regional variations, like the Iowa State Fair Cajun chicken one. It really seems like the Southern style one. The only difference is that it's using the Cajun seasonings. And you also can do the ones that have the DIY toppings. You can add stuff like tahini mayo and dress it up like Mexican street corn. So, you know, the chicken on the stick can be different depending on where you live. Somebody might hear it and think one thing and somebody else thinks it's something else. But feel free to get creative and make it various ways. And, you know, I'm currently living in Georgia. And when we went to the fair, it was, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed, y'all. They didn't have the chicken on the stick. They had steak on the stick. Steak tips. And it's not that I don't like steak, but it literally was just steak by itself on a stick. And it was tough. It wasn't good. It was overpriced. And I'm just disappointed, y'all. I don't know. I was just kind of disappointed with the fair food. I don't know what's going on. So it just made me be like, I'm going to make it myself. So, you know, I wanted to do it for the channel. We did, you know, previously. Yes. And so after going to the fair, they didn't really have the chicken on a stick that I'm used to in Mississippi, where it got the pickles and onion on there. They just had a chicken kebab, where it's literally just the meat on the stick on it. And I ain't liking it. So, yeah, I just finished frying it. I should have showed myself doing it, but I didn't. But, yeah, this the chicken on a stick, and it looked good. Rabbit, stop. I know you want some.
I like it.
You do? Okay, that was quick. I guess I need to know what you think about the fried pickle part and all that too. You like it? Okay.
I actually like fried pickles.
Cool. And since fair season is coming up, I figure, hey, let's do it for the channel. So, yeah, we about to do the Mississippi State Fair style chicken on the stick. I'm going to show you the ingredients and marinated it and all of that because I did that yesterday. So we'll start there and then we'll come on back when we get ready to get started. All right, y'all. So this is the evening before. It's about 7:30 p.m. And so I'm going to show you the ingredients and then we're going to get to chopping up the stuff and marinating. But of course, if you want to skip around, the timestamps are in the description box. So let's show the ingredients. All right, so getting into the ingredients, you can do the chicken breast or chicken tenderloins. I'm using the breast this time. I like the fact that the tenderloins are smaller strips, so it's easier to cut them into cubes. However, I want to make sure it's thicker because like when you get to the tip of the tenderloin, it might break through the stick. So I'm just going to use the chicken breast this time. And depending on how many you're making, you can do 4 to 6 chicken breast. So we got our chicken breast. Seasonings, we have sea salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and some smoked paprika, and optional if you want to do the chicken bouillon. Then to marinate our chicken breast, I got some buttermilk to break it down and make it tender. And then you can do 1 to 2 onions, some dill pickles, and then some beer batter. Of course, you can do it with flour and baking powder, all that kind of stuff. But I like the taste of the beer batter or tempura batter. And just so you can see the differences in it, the beer batter is a darker golden brown, puffier, more pronounced flavor from the beer, and it's slightly chewier texture, whereas the tempura batter is lighter and crispier with a lacy texture and often has lower gluten or rice flour. And so you can screenshot that and look over that and see the differences in that. But yeah, so I personally prefer to do the beer batter, but there's different reasons why you could do either or. So, you know, just so you can see, just add a little education in there. But of course, you can make your batter from scratch. And so just go back before this slide and screenshot those ingredients if you want to do your batter from scratch. But if you can find the beer batter, do that. You can do 1 pack. I'm going to do 2 packs. And also I'm inserting it now because I actually had forgot to get the beer. So make sure you get that if you're going to do beer batter. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I just wasn't thinking. I don't know why I thought it was in the mixture. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I didn't even look at the bag. So definitely I'm going to go run to the corner store. All right, here we are. On that beer. These 24 ounces. I only need 16 ounces, but I'm going to get a big old pan. And I'm going to get like a light layer. So Corona should be fine. I'm going to post what it said about the different types of beers and why you would use them. But definitely want something more light and crisp with a mild flavor, nothing too heavy or too malty like. So that's what we're going for. And it's 24 ounces, so it should be plenty. All right, so I'm back in less than 10 minutes. You could do the beer or club soda, so it's your choice. But I'm gonna do the beer because I mean I was going for beer batter. And of course, you need your skewers. As far as the skewers, you know, I have this size, about 12 inches. And I tried to go in the store to get a slightly smaller size because you got to make sure it actually fits in the skillet. Just to give you an example, it's not that the 12-inch can't fit in there, but it's like just right. And if you're going to put multiple ones and you see how it graduates and gets smaller, you're not going to be able to put as many in there. So, of course, you can cut the ends, but you don't want it to be splintering, snagging. Just be careful, you know, with it. Or, let me just show you, you know, they got different sizes. Also, as far as the skewer sticks, you can get wood bamboo skewers or the chrome skewers. These are what, 12 inches, which I have about that size at home, but you got to make sure it actually lays in whatever skillet that you're going to use. So if not, they have different sizes. I would have loved to gotten the 8-inch bamboo skewers, but they don't have it. So 6 inches, which is about half the size of this one, and it's the last pack. I'm gonna get this because last time I think I cut my 12-inch skewers, and this time I don't want to do that. So I think I'm gonna get some smaller ones. But of course, if your skillet big enough and you want big ones, 12-inch it is. They go as big as 15, 12 inches, 8 inches, 6 inches, and 4 inches. Key is make sure you fit in your skillet, whatever you're using to fry. So yeah, preferably I would have liked to got 10 inches actually. First I was thinking 8, but nah, it's not a whole lot bigger. So I think a 10 would be good for my size skillet, but the next one that they have is 6. Plus, it may be better. You can get more out of them, and especially with Ḥaďe, the 6 might work. So we're gonna try that, even though at the state fair, it's usually not that small. It's usually big. So I don't know. I may do both. But yeah, just wanted to make sure I emphasize that about the skewers. You can do the wood ones. You gotta soak them. Of course, you can go in the store, but I got some links from Amazon, especially if you can't find the 10-inch. They have some 10-inch ones on Amazon, as well as some 12-inch ones. And these have the stoppers on the end, which I like because that can keep the food from falling off, which I did have that problem later on. So that could be helpful if you do want to do the 12-inch size. Or you can do the metal ones. Starting on the far left, that's a 30 pack of 10-inch metal skewers. And then the one in the middle, those are only 8 inches. I would prefer the 10-inch, but I do like that it has a storage container, especially since the metal ones, of course, you're getting them because you can use them over and over again. So I do like the fact that that one has a storage container. And then the other skewers are, what, 13.2 inches. That's perfect for a grill. That comes in a pack of 30, and I like that that has a storage tube as well that you can keep your skewers in. So check those links out in the description box. But since I so happen to have the wood ones, that's what I'm going to use. And of course, you want your cooking oil, your vegetable oil. So that's all the ingredients. Let's get started. So first thing we're going to do, we got our cutting board, we got our chicken, and we got our container and our buttermilk. You can season it if you want to also while we marinate it, but the main thing is definitely cutting up the chicken and marinating. So wash your hands. All right, so right now I'm going to wash off my chicken breast. Now we got our chicken breast washed off. Let's cube them up. My container over here to the side, right here. And if you want to, you can cut that extra fat off or whatever. So I got them into those strips. And then cut them maybe about 1 inch cubes. I cut them about this size. And then put them in my container to the side. And repeat. I'll say about 1 inch cubes. So it's not too thin. So when you stick the stick through there, it don't just break through too much. And put them to the side. All right, so that is my cubed chicken breast. And now we're gonna season it up and put the buttermilk on there. All right, y'all. So I was editing, and for some reason, I don't have the footage for when I did the buttermilk. So I'm going to insert it because I so happen to be doing some chicken tenderloins, and I'm going to do the same technique. So the only difference is that this is not cut into cubes, but I'm definitely going to do it the same. And if anything, before I only seasoned the chicken and then poured the buttermilk over it. But what I like to do now, if you want to make it really, really seasoned, is season the chicken and the buttermilk. So, yeah. Or you could do just the buttermilk. Because the buttermilk kind of washes it off, kind of. So, I do both, or at least do the buttermilk mixture. Season that by itself and then do the chicken. So, it's your choice how you want to do it. But I'm doing both. So, The same treatment I'm gonna do for this, you can do for your cube chicken, for your chicken on a stick. All right, so I got the chicken over here because I want to season the buttermilk over here. So pour your buttermilk in. I'm doing both side by side. How about that? Then I'm take my salt, season up my chicken, and my buttermilk mixture, my black pepper, same thing, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and my chicken bouillon. Then I'm gonna mix my seasonings into my buttermilk. Then I'm also gonna mix it with my chicken. And a little bit extra in there. And like this stuff is to taste. You could do one or the other if you want to. You could season just the chicken or just the buttermilk, but I preferably want to do both. And I'm also going to do those same seasonings in the batter mix too. But this is how you make sure it's well seasoned. And it serves as a brine, adding the seasonings to the buttermilk. And the second paragraph shows how to make a buttermilk substitute. All right, then put the top on there and put it in the fridge so it can marinate. All right, y'all, so there we go. We got our chicken marinating in the buttermilk. The reason why we're doing that is because we want the mild acidity in the buttermilk to break down the proteins in the chicken, which is going to result in a more tender, moist meat, which that's what we want. And so you can marinate it anywhere between 4 to 24 hours. You don't really want to go over 24 hours because when you start going into 24 to 48 hours, it can result in a more mushy textured meat. And we don't want that either. So, you know, it'll be overkill. However, the sweet spot is probably about 12 to 24 hours. Because like I say, you could do it as less as 4. But if you do it like overnight, let's say overnight, that's about the best way. Because once you do that, it gives enough time for it to break down. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I think you can velvet it by using baking soda, baking powder. What is it, y'all? So there's something called velvet in the chicken too that you can use baking soda with. And I think that only takes about 30 minutes to do. 15 to 20 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes. So you can read over all of this or screenshot that, but it's a good alternative, especially if you don't want the buttermilk taste and you want a shorter method to tenderize your meat. If you don't want to be waiting, doing it overnight type of stuff. But I think the buttermilk is the way I want it to go. So yeah, that's gonna require a little bit more time. And it's definitely gonna make the meat taste really good too. So why not? That's the highlight of the meal, the chicken. We wanna make sure it's good. So alright, we'll pick up where we left up at tomorrow. Now, what I'm about to do is soak the skewers because, you know, of course, if you're doing the wood ones or the metal ones, it's going to make a difference. Actually, if you're going to fry them, the metal would probably be better, but I've never gotten it. I'm going to get some for the future. So again, links will be in the description with it because I did see something that got the whole case and all that. That's the one I want. But regardless, we're going to start with soaking these because you don't want it to splinter and all of that. You want to soak it in warm water. All right, so we got our warm water for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes. And so that's going to help prevent burning, maintain the integrity of the skewer. And it can add flavor if you want to do it in like a marinade or something like that, you know. You can do that too. The smaller skewers, I'm just going to put 25 in there since they're so little. So 25 of my smaller skewers. And like I say, fully submerge it in the hot water. And then for these, like I say, these are 12 inches. I really would like to cut it down, you know, an inch or two. So you can do scissors, but I ain't gonna lie, when I did it the other time with scissors, it was raggedy. So I'm gonna try these on pliers that I have for my jewelry stuff. See what happened with that. Make sure it can fit in here. If it fit in here, it should fit anything. So I think I'm gonna go about here and see if that's a smoother cut or give it a good head start. Going around it. All right. Yeah, that's smoother. And so what I'll do is I will just measure it based off that. And cut them and put them in there. I might have to go back and pick those up, but you get what's going on. We just don't want it to splinter too bad. It's going to be going better. Let's see. Put them in there. Oh, thing popping everywhere. But definitely you want to make sure that you use warm water and that it's fully submerged in the water. And the longer you let it soak, the better. Like I say, 20 to 30 minutes is what I'm doing. So at least 20, 30 minutes. But of course, the longer you let it soak, the better, especially if you're going to be doing it at high heat. So just make note of that. All right. So now, while the skewers are soaking, we're going to cut the onions up into quarters. And if it's real big, you can even cut that. So I guess eighths, quarters to eighths. So let's get started on that. Okay, just gonna peel this off. Okay. All right, then you're gonna cut it into quarters. Well, it should be half and then quarters. Oh, got my ass burning. Like I say, if it ends up feeling like it's kind of big on any of them, you can even cut it like this way. Oh, my eyes watering. Ooh. And then what you do is you can either have them in one layer or two layers. Like that. Let me get ready to put it on there. I'm going to cut this one in half. That's why I got 2 onions, just to make sure. But again, I could do 1 layer though, because I don't want to run short. I'll see when I get to going what I do. Okay, this time I'm going to cut it in half first, then in quarters. Part of me want to leave some big for like if I do that on the bigger skewers versus the smaller ones. Regardless, I definitely want to make sure I got enough. All right, so now we got the onions chopped up. Let's do the pickles. All right, so now I got a container set to the side. And you want to do some whole kosher dill pickles. Or you could do the little hamburger ones. I did that, I think, before, but it can be thin and split trying to put it on the stick. So that's how come probably just do the whole ones if you want to have thicker pieces. Ooh, I'm trying to get these pickles open and struggling to open these daggone pickles. Trying to go around and around to pop the top. There you go. All right. Now, I should be able to open them. There we go. Okay. So we get the dill pickles. So I'm just taking the ends off of it. I don't want the ends on it. All right, and so with the pickles, cut them into about an inch piece. About right there. About that thickness. And put it in my container on the side. Now you see those pickles that I have on the left aren't that wide. So if you really want like a thicker, wider pickle, especially if you're going to do those jumbo size chicken on sticks, then you probably want to get those bigger pickles, the size of those pickle in the pouches type of pickles, if that's what you're going for. And I got so many onions, so I'm definitely going to pull some more out. I just hope since this time I got chicken breast instead of the tenderloins, that I got plenty of chicken. So I'll stop at whatever point that I run out of chicken. So I think there's about 7 little dill pickles right here. See that right there with that hole in it already? That ain't gonna work. I'm gonna eat that. But this stick just gonna fall right out. Especially for those smaller sticks, you can do something a little bit thinner than that 1 inch. But if you're doing like a big stick, then you can do thicker pieces of pickle. It's whatever your preference. I think that should be enough. So that's about 7 of those small whole dill pickles. I got about this much left in here. All right, and put that to the side. Now we're gonna do the beer batter. Now that I have about 8 minutes left on the skewers soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and get my grease going. So I'm turning on my skillet, and then I got some vegetable oil that I'm going to put in there. And you want to make sure you got enough oil so that it can submerge and fry your chicken on a stick, but not to the tippy top where it's no room and it don't spill. You don't want it to spill over, basically. So I'm trying to make sure I got enough without doing too much. I think that should be fine. All right, so we're gonna let that be heating up, and then we're gonna go over there to do the flour mixture. I'm gonna use this since this was long enough for the skewers to coat the batter in. So I'm about to dry this out and then put my batter in this. Definitely want to have a long container or whatever. And I also got like a baking sheet I'll put aside, so whenever I finish battering it, that I'll sit it over there before we start. Okay, so you can make something pre-done like the tempura mix, but I'm gonna do beer batter. If you don't have any of that and you want to use flour, then do you about 2 to 3 cups of flour, depending on how many you're making. But I'm gonna put my beer batter in here. Now we got our beer batter going on. We're gonna add some seasoning to it. Now, the beer batter is about 8.5 ounces. That's equivalent to 2 cups. So this would be like doing 2 cups. So this is really like 4 cups of flour if you were going to use straight up flour, since I used 2 packs. So these are the ingredients from Scratch Double Dough. So I broke it down. If you're going to do, like, for instance, 4 cups of flour or beer batter, because I'm still going to season mine up. Whatever you're going to do, I'm still going to season it. You can do 2 teaspoons of paprika per 2 cups. So since I got 4 cups, then I'm going to do 4 teaspoons of paprika. Now, for the garlic powder, you'll do 1 tablespoon per 2 cups. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons since I got 4 cups worth in there. Then for every 2 cups, you can do 1 tablespoons of salt. Since I got 4, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. Then for the black pepper, you can do 2 teaspoons per 2 cups. So I'm going to do 4 teaspoons of black pepper. Also, I'm going to add my chicken bouillon. I guess 4 teaspoons of that. Y'all see this is rough because it's just going in there crazy. But I was trying to give y'all somewhat of a specific measurement. But yeah. So for every 2 cups, you can do 2 teaspoons of the chicken bouillon, and it's optional. But since I got 4 cups, I'm doing 4 teaspoons. Then mix it up so it's seasoned well. And if you were doing just straight up flour, you can add some baking powder to it. So for every 2 cups, you could do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So if you're doing 4 like this, then you would do 4 teaspoons of baking powder. So that's optional if you're doing straight up flour. Shit, I don't have no beer or no club soda. Shit. Yeah, this is the part where I realized I didn't have the beer and I had to go to the store. So just make sure you have your beer if you're going to do beer batter already. All right. So if it said 1 cup for every 2 cups of flour, and I got 4 cups, then I'm going to do 2 cups of beer. Let's get that going. And like I say, the best beer is like a light lager because it's going to be clean, crisp, and it's going to be slightly savory, but not overpowering. So that's like a Corona or a, is it ʄąıཞj? I hope I'm saying it right, y'all. But yeah, you just also got to take into consideration what you are making, you know. And the chicken is not a super heavy flavor, so it don't make sense to be having no super strong beer in there. You definitely want to use it cold. I'm going to put it in there and mix it in. And the reason why it works is because the carbonation is going to create the bubbles and make the batter light, airy, and crisp by helping it to expand during frying. Then the yeast is going to act similarly to yeast in bread, you know, making the batter more puffy. And it's going to add a subtle, savory, malty flavor to the batter, you know, just enhancing the overall dish. So that is how the beer helps the batter and adds to the flavor. I just don't want it too malty, so that's why I went with a light lager beer. Corona. That's why I chose that one. But I would definitely put the screenshot of all of that if I didn't already, so you can see. Because you may want to do beer batter with something else, or choose, you know, something that you want to taste it more. And so I'll let you know why you would choose certain beers for the batter. And it is good to get a little extra just in case you want your batter to be thinner, but you don't want it too thin. So, you know. Also, I'm going to go ahead and take this water off of this. Just, you know, it's been soaking in water a little longer. And take that off now that we are ready to batter up our sticks. Okay. All right. So now I took the excess buttermilk off of it. So this is what the chicken is giving after it's been marinated for 24 hours. Yeah, because you can see after pouring the buttermilk off mostly how much seasoning is still left on the chicken. So definitely season both the buttermilk and the chicken like I showed you, because I didn't do that when I first did the cube chicken. So you can see the difference. So I got my chicken, then I got my onions, my pickles cut up, my batter, and my skewers. And then I got my grease heating up on the stove. I got this baking sheet so that I can lay them on here after I batter them up before putting them in the skillet. So now we're about to start putting the skewers together and battering them up. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to do one of the big sticks. I'm just going to show you one of each. The way I want to do it, you can take, especially for the longer sticks, I think this is about 2 onions. So put that on first to kind of coat the bottom. Also, you just want to make sure that the slice is not too small, because when you put the hole in there, you don't want it to tear through easily, especially when the weight of that batter and stuff get on there. So yeah, that's why. You don't want too big, but not too little. I'm gonna do the chicken next. Then I'm gonna do the pickle. Also, when with your pickle, instead of running it down the middle, just run it up the side. It makes it more firmer, because a lot of them been coming off as I've been cooking them. So just figured I'd mention that. And then repeat. And then I'm going to top it off with a pickle. And there you have it for the longer one that's got more of an excess on the ends. Now, if you don't want that much of an excess, then you should do about 4 sets or layers of it. So just do another set and it'll come to about right there on your stick. And if you just want a bigger, thicker chicken on a stick, like something similar to this, then you definitely want to use long skewers, 10 to 12 inches or longer. You want to cut your chicken breast thicker. I did 1-inch cuts. You can do 1.5 to 2-inch cubes. And you want to leave your onion pieces big. Like when I cut it into fourths, you don't want to cut it down much more. And definitely use bigger, wider, thicker dill pickles. This is the one that I got on the left, those Vlasic whole dill pickles, but you saw they were kind of smaller or thinner. So you definitely don't want to get those big dill pickles, the size of those pickles in the pouches kind of pickles. So they'll be thicker and you'll have bigger dill pickles. So yeah, they'll be wider, but still cut them into about 1-inch thick slices. And then, do your 4 sets or layers. Or more, depending on how long your skewer is. But yeah, keep those all in mind if you want to get a big, thick chicken on a stick like the fair. Like the one similar to the left. If that's what you're going for. Looks good. So that's the longer one with the excess on the end. And so I like to start with that. And you can either do the pickle between it and then the chicken on top. But I wanted to end with my pickle on the top. So that's why I did mine like that. And so I'm going to sit that aside on my baking sheet. Then if you got a smaller skewer, this is my 6-inch. Then I'm going to definitely use those smaller onions. Let's see. Definitely can't do 3 layers of it. Maybe 2. So we'll start with that. Do a chicken. Pickle. Onion again. I'm gonna use one of these. Then another piece of chicken. Trying to make sure I don't have excess. So if it's like a little hanging piece like that, I'm gonna go through that part at the bottom. to secure it so it's not flapping. Push it down more if you need to, and then top it with my pickle. And now that's the 6-inch skewer that has about 2 layers instead of 3. So here's the basis for comparison. But now if you're trying to get closer to what the fair is like, that's definitely a longer stick. But you can do a smaller stick too. So your choice. I'm doing both. And repeat. I'll come back once I got them all finished. On there. And pickle. We just had these last 2 pickles left, so there we go. The last one. This is what all of them are looking like. I got the longer skewers up here and the smaller ones there. And so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the 6 inches, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 other big ones. So let me clear this up. All right, looking good. Now, about to batter it up. All right, so we're gonna take it and just batter it all the way on there. Get a spoon. Make sure I get it all on there because this show been sitting here and getting fluffy on me. In hindsight, it's probably better to add the beer to your dry batter after you assemble the skewers, so it doesn't have too much time to puff up like that. Definitely want to get your batter on there good. Make sure I coat it good. Yeah, I think with me, I probably should have wet the batter after I put the sticks together, because now it done fluffed up on me. Which I ain't mad at that, but I would have even fluffed up more than it would have. So, okay. Make sure that's on there because my pickle looks like it want to come off. Alright. That's 2. And repeat. Okay. And that's with the batter on there. And now let's put it in the skillet. Alright, so our grease is definitely hot. And we're going to put it in there. You want it to cook for 6 to 8 minutes per side. Like I said, definitely trying to peel off a little bit. Get my spoon and rake it back on there. Okay. 1, 2. Make sure I got it all the way in there, because that's the point. You need it in there all the way. Four. So far I got 4 in there. I'm going to set the timer for 7 minutes, and then I'm going to flip them over. Also, I'm just thought about it last night. I got to take some paper towel, and I just want to kind of drain it too as I take them off. So this is temporary, but that's what I'm going to put this on. Okay. All right, so that's been 7 minutes. And you can see it's just about fully submerged, except for maybe that little bit. So what I might do, and I'm going to turn it over and do it maybe 3 more minutes instead of a whole another 7 minutes. Let's flip that over this way. You know what? I am just going to do another 7 minutes. Bump it just to make sure it's thoroughly cooked. All right. So there we go. Another 7 minutes on the other side. Okay. So now that's done. Let's take them out and put them on here so they can. I don't want my people to fall off. No. I don't like that. So now that's where these with those stopper discs on the end come in handy to keep this stuff from falling off the skewer. Or putting the pickle on sideways to make it firmer, like I discovered between doing the batches that I updated earlier in the video. Oh, not the pickle falling off. About to do our next batch. Also make sure it's turned up on medium-high heat, because I don't know, my breading was too soft and was falling off on this batch. Then I turned it up, and then, because the first batch is fine, the second batch was looking like that, and then now this batch is looking like this. So just letting you know, if it's soft, you might have to turn it up. I should have used my cast iron skillet. Or don't overcrowd it either, because this one I got 3 that I put in there and that one 4, so maybe 3 at a time. Okay, so the first batch of the small ones are done. All right, this is the last batch of the 6-inch skewers. Now I'm going to show you just like a little mini vlog from the fair, and then I'm going to show you the rest of them plated up. This is my makeup look going to the fair. It's cute. Then they got the candy stuff, so they got popcorn, candy, cotton candy, lemonade. Yeah, that hammer thing said make it stand in the air like that. Absolutely not.
I know what to call that.
What?
The trauma generator.
Something, because I don't want no part of that. You can hear the screams.
You can hear the screams. You can hear the speeding down.
You can hear the screams. Oh my God, I cannot do it. I got the fried Oreos and the funnel cake up here. That's been doing the fried Oreos over here. Okay, thank you. This is the Minnesota State Fair. That lemonade look bomb. That lemonade look like water. Am I tripping? Oh, we definitely can do better than that. Let's hold on, let me get your fried Oreos. I'll put, a list of it, so of course, this was your favorite. Chicken tenders. condiments, chicken kebabs, steak kebabs, okay, and lemonade. It's that pork chop on a stick, turkey legs, roasted corn, and Mexican corn, burgers and fries. Okay. Turkey legs over there. Hey, hey. Now what you eat? Cause I'm looking.
Nachos.
Nachos look kind of good.
Yeah.
Nachos, lemonade, and a corn dog.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's your favorite.
What I paid my money for.
I know, right? I was thinking I'm getting on rides with her before I get some food, but I'm gonna try to do a video on like fair food.
Look, I am.
Damn, I know that's right.
You done grab the corn dog. I said take a picture.
He trying to eat, better take the picture. That look like the steak kebabs right there. They got pork chops back there, and I think that's the chicken on a stick back there. What's y'all's favorite fair food? Leave a comment of what's yours down below. Y'all already know that one of mine is the chicken on the stick. So these are the chicken kebabs from the Georgia State Fair. They not even chicken on the stick. And these are the Mississippi State Fair style ones that I made, like the ones that I grew up on. All right, y'all, we're about to do the taste test. Okay, so now, since you standing right there, and Sade, she over here, she got hers. And you got the soft one. Okay. Robin is just greedy. I know it smells good, but chill. So how is it tasting to you?
It tastes really good. I like the flavors mixed together.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's the chicken. Does it taste like an onion ring and fried pickle? Oh, because your mouth full. Is the chicken tender? Okay. So if you prefer less batter, it still tastes good. Would you like that bread, huh? And then you want to try it with some ranch on there, or you like it without it?
I think I like it with ranch.
You want to try it with some?
No.
Wait, go ahead.
I think I like it better with no ranch.
Okay. Well, then that means the seasoning stand alone is good. All right, so now.
It's well seasoned. I like it.
Cool. Is the chicken tender?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's cool without the ranch, or you want ranch with yours? I know you're a big ranch person. Or what kind of sauce you would tell the people you recommend with it?
It's fine without it, but it's ranch. I mean, can't really go wrong with ranch in general.
Right.
Especially on chicken.
I don't even know if you remember the Mississippi State Fair with the chicken on the stick. Because I was going to say, dude, tastes like that, but you probably too young to even remember like that. So y'all like it then? Cool. Now I need to taste it. All right, y'all. About to taste it. The kids like it. Yeah. It's like three things in one, because you know how the fair can have just straight up fried pickles. So it's got technically fried pickles on there. If you like onion rings, it's got that on there. And the chicken all in one. That's why I like it. And yeah, it is seasoned pretty good. But of course, if you do want some sauce on it, you can do ranch dressing, Or like that Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce. You know how they got that in the stores now. Walmart, I think, sells it, or maybe Publix too. But you know, you can buy it in the store. Whatever your favorite sauce that you like. But it really tastes good even without it as well. So, yeah. And yeah, definitely tender chicken. That's what I want. All right, y'all. So that is delicious. You can definitely make your own fair food at home. And we also are making funnel cake. We got the classic one as well as a couple gourmet ones with Oreos and the apple pie filling on top. And if you want to do the apple pie gourmet funnel cake, then I actually have a recipe of the homemade apple pie filling if you don't want to use the store-bought in a can. And I know you saw that watery lemonade. So we had to make us some fresh homemade lemonade. So we did classic, raspberry, and blue raspberry. So those taste delicious. And fried Oreos. Easy to make, and those turned out delicious also. Definitely, if you haven't seen that, then click on that. And yeah, because you know the kids, they gotta have some kind of sweet. And you're gonna get away with it. And it's kind of like what they like a lot and what they enjoyed at the fair. So we're gonna do that. Well, I'm glad that you were able to watch. Hope y'all are enjoying your fall. If your fair is going on in your state or your county, go to it. Enjoy with your kids. Make sure you like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more. Bye.